welcome back to my channel. If you are new, then welcome. Hello, hi. Don't forget to subscribe. Today I am going to be talking about, as you can tell by the title, why I think you should study nursing in London. Now, it's all up to you. It's all depending on how far you're willing to travel, whether you're local to London, whether you're not local to London, whether you even live in the UK, how far you want to move away from home, whether you want to stay at home if you do live here. There's all sorts of things that factor into it, and I have a whole load of other videos that you can look at on staying at home versus staying in uni accommodation. I have videos on why I chose to study at the uni that I'm studying at, so check those out if you haven't already. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I study at King's College London, and I'm London born and bred, so I have not moved for uni. I haven't even moved into accommodation. I'm still living in my parents' house, so I have all the home comforts whilst being able to kind of do my course and study nursing at uni in London. From my own personal experience, this is not influenced by anyone else, this is just what I've experienced and the things that I think are important. From that, I'm just going to be telling you guys why I think it is a good idea to study nursing in London, because this worked for me, so hopefully it would work for you too. So the first thing, which is just completely obvious, is the location. The location of London unis. Obviously there's multiple London unis, not just King's, that do nursing courses, but just going to London, whether you're in north, south, east, west, central, wherever you are, it's such a central place to be. There's so many places you can get to from uni. So you could go to uni, then you could go get some food, you could go to uni and then go to a bar. Like, obviously now it's a bit different, but it's just so, when you're in London, everything is just so easily accessible. So that kind of makes uni life quite nice. You can go out all over London and it's easy to get to wherever you want to go. There's a lot of things that you can see. Like, if you want to do up tourist, then like go and see some tourist attractions. Like, for example, my campus that I'm mainly at the moment is literally right next to the Shard. So it's really nice to just kind of, on my morning walk to uni, see the Shard like as I go in. It's really nice. I just think it's a nice location. That's probably the first simple point to put out there. Second of all, the transport links. Whether you're living in a uni accommodation or you're commuting from your house to a London uni, the transport links are amazing. You've got trams, trains, tubes, buses that go literally all across London, and then obviously you've got trains that can take you back home. So if you live up north or south, wherever you live that is not in London, it's very easy to kind of go to and from your house. You're not going to have any trouble with kind of getting home and going to places, and especially with placement, getting up very early in the morning. If you're going to uni in the countryside, like, you're probably going to have to wait for a bus like every half an hour, whereas if you miss your bus or you miss your train commuting to placement in London, there's going to be one in a few minutes later. So, and that's happened to me so many times. My train has been cancelled and I panic so much, but then I get the train afterwards and I'm still on time because it just they come so quickly. The buses come so quickly as well, so you don't really have to worry that much about being late unless you just can't handle your time. Then that's different. Also, like, the biggest thing about nursing in London is the placements, like the trust that you can work in. Some of the biggest hospital trusts in the UK are within London, most of them, to be honest. Like, you've got King's, St Thomas's, St George's, Chelsea and Westminster, Guy's, Barts. Like, you have so much. There's so many hospitals, so many massive community teams, so many outpatient services, mental health services, clinics, GPs. Like, you get to see some huge units. Like, in the trust that I work at, they have huge pediatric units, and I think if you go to a uni that's like kind of more rural, you don't have huge pediatric departments. So for people who are doing child nursing, that can be quite an issue. And that's one thing that drew me to placements in London, is that they have really big departments. Like, they have big neonatal departments, they have specific, they don't just have a children's ward. Like, it's, you know, you have like specific like wards for kind of adolescents or for liver patients or surgical patients. There's just a wider range, and I find that really exciting, and that's what kind of put me off not studying in London, because I know that some of the trusts that are not in London, not all of them, because there are some very big trusts and amazing placement areas that aren't in London, but for me, I just felt like there was a lot more opportunity in London, and regardless of the trust that I got put in, before I started the course, I just knew that I would have so many opportunities to go to so many like amazing places and see so many amazing things. Also, like the diversity as well, like the diversity of the patients that you'll come across in London is amazing. Children and adults from all different cultural backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, religions. You get a lot of people who don't speak English as well, or speak very minimal English, and you know, you see how nurses and the rest of the multidisciplinary team are able to communicate, and how they use translators, and how they're able to kind of make parents feel comfortable even if they don't fully understand what's going on. And in places that are maybe less diverse, you don't really get the opportunity to see that. Facilities as well. In London, you have obviously the facilities within the hospitals that you work in, and the facilities within the unis. The campuses are like right near the hospitals. You've got your kind of hospital simulation facilities, and I know every university has them, but I just like the ones that I saw in the London unis that I applied for, so that's another reason that I was drawn to staying in London. As I said before, the kind of social side of being in London, when Corona disappears and hopefully we can go back to normal soon, uni life in London is very social. I know it is everywhere, to be honest, but it's a very dynamic place to be. You get to meet a load of people from all around the world. A lot of international students come to London universities as well, so you get to meet people from different countries, people who speak all sorts of different languages, have different cultures. It's just so nice to kind of meet a whole load of different people. So yeah, I think that's a big benefit, especially when you're going into nursing. Like, you have to be able to understand a lot of people's cultures and backgrounds, and like, you come across people from all walks of life. So if you get exposed to that at uni as well, that's kind of a great introduction to what you're going to be used to in your career and what you're going to be exposed to. The last thing as well is like thinking about the future and kind of post-graduation and what I wanted to do. I think for me, London has really good opportunities for nursing jobs. The range of placements that you can go on kind of reflects the range of job opportunities that there are here. And so I just thought, you know what, I might as well study here. If I'm going to work here, it just makes things easier, especially within the trust I am. If I stay in the trust that I'm with, then I already know how the hospital runs, I know trust policies, I know some of the staff. Like, it just makes everything more comfortable. I do not regret at all moving out of London to go and study somewhere else. Obviously, each to their own, but for me, it was just the best decision to be here and to study here. Also, everything's within such close proximity. I know some placements in some unis outside of London, their trusts are really far away from the actual campus, and that just put me off a lot. So having everything so close together in London makes things a lot easier and takes up less of my time. So I'm really happy here. I would not change it for the world. And if you're deciding whether to be in London, whether to not be in London, I hope this video has helped. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.